now tuned into the greatest.
So when that bag come, I won't fumble. I'm just stacking on the low, but hey, I'm tired of being humble. Let me get to it. That motivation music. Get control of your life, don't let nobody else do it. Cause we're not gonna have Metro S550s cruising. Feel like you winning on it.
Yes, sir. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to The Run with me, Manny Wilson, all the way from Detroit to Chicago to your speakers and headphones. Now, I appreciate you tuning in to the first interactive sports podcast, a community that makes sure your voice is heard. So if you hear something you agree with, you disagree with, you like or you dislike, go ahead, shoot us a quick take on a voicemail line, 219-413-9405. And of course, we will play your take back on our next episode. And then shout out to SeatGeek for sponsoring this episode. Get $20 off your first ticket purchase when you use the promo code The Run Podcast. Now, this code can only be applied for first-time users on the mobile app or website. So I don't know about you, but the NFL season is right around the corner, and I am going to see my Atlanta Falcons play. But there's a lot of other teams in America, so go check them out. And one of the teams that's got a lot of interest right now is so-called America's team, and that's the Dallas Cowboys. Now, they're about to lose probably the best edge rusher in all of football, Micah Parsons. He's officially requested a trade, and the first thing that comes to mind is you've got to be a dumb owner. You've got to be one of the dumbest owners in all of sports to not pay an edge rusher like Micah Parsons, one person who has the work ethic. He has the intensity on the field. He has the stats to back up his intensity on the field. He has the full package. This guy is an elite force of nature, especially on a defensive end. So you just got to be a complete Dumbo, which I'll explain a little bit more. But let me tell you what Micah Parsons said in his trade request. Now, I'm not going to read the whole thing because there is a lot of different, bits and pieces to the statement that Micah Parsons released. You can go on his Twitter page, check it out, Micah Parsons 11, and look at the full statement or just search it up. And then you can read the full exact statement. But I'm just going to read a hint of it. And he's just saying, yes, I wanted to be here. I did everything I could to show that I wanted to be a Cowboy and wear the star on my helmet. I wanted to play in front of the best fans in sports and make this America's team once again. This team, my pops and I grew up cheering for and all the way in Pennsylvania. Unfortunately, I no longer want to be here. Crazy how he said I want to be here, and then unfortunately, I no longer want to be here. Crazy. So he said, I no longer want to be held to a closed door negotiations without my agent present. I no longer want shots taken at me for getting injured while laying it all on the line for the organization, our fans, and teammates. I no longer want narratives created and spread to the media about me. So he continues on and on and on about his statement, but that's the bottom line of what Micah Parsons is tired of dealing with as a Dallas Cowboy and his owner being Jerry Jones. So me, completely, I understand this. This is stupid. You've got to be one of the dumbest people in the world as an owner, a GM, anyone in the front office to let a defensive talent like Micah Parsons go. It literally does not make any sense. Jerry Jones is trying his hardest to outperform Nico Harrison as the dumbest GM in Dallas and the dumbest GM in all of sports. Because how? How could you possibly call it quits when it comes to paying a player like Micah Parsons, who's already showed how much of an elite force he is on the field, especially when he is healthy? The man has the work ethic. He has the talent behind it. He has the full package of what you could ask for with the defensive end, edge rusher in the NFL. And he still has youth on his side, man, if we're being honest. So I just don't understand what Jerry Jones is doing. Maybe it's a tactic. Maybe it's a little game that he's trying to play where he's holding out or whatever. But none of this has worked in the past. So, yeah, I know Jerry Jones he won the Cowboys a Super Bowl back when color TV was just invented. But as of lately, Jerry Jones needs to go, man. He needs to go. And I got a great friend who says this all the time. Tom Tyree on the Hot Podcast. You need to check it out. He says it all the time. Unfortunately, the Dallas Cowboys not going to be good until Jerry Jones hits the grave and hits the dirt. Sad thing to say, but I'm really beginning to believe that statement that he says. And I think a lot of Cowboys fans are beginning to understand that is unfortunately going to be the reality for the Cowboys. Because Jerry Jones, man, first of all, even going back before all the contract BS, you fired McCarthy, which is cool. A lot of people wanted that. You fired McCarthy. But then after you fire McCarthy, you go hire somebody nobody even knows of. I mean, you ask a person who's not a Cowboys fan who's their head coach, and they still will probably struggle to figure out who the hell that is. So, you hire someone who's a no-name, hasn't really done anything in the NFL, and you turn him into the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys with no proven track record. There's no way in hell you can't convince me that the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys isn't Jerry Jones's wife's nephew or something like that. You just can't convince me at this point, because that was just one of the dumbest hires already. So that was earlier in the season where that happened. And then now you move forward and move along where the Cowboys, it's time to re-sign Micah Parsons. You want to play these games of, I don't want a player who's hurt and doesn't want to do this. And now you're playing all of these silly games. And now look, he's up and he's gone. And watch, he's going to go to a dominant team. And now the Cowboys better hope they don't end up like the Giants, where they trade another star player and then he goes to a team and win a Super Bowl, because that would just make them another big laughing stock of the NFL. So I'm upset at Jerry Jones, but this is expected. He's single-handedly ruining the Cowboys, as we know. Yes, he has the Super Bowls, but he hasn't done anything since color TV has been invented. So to me, Jerry Jones has by far been the problem for the last 3 decades for some time now. And then with me, I look at this whole situation of Michael Parsons like, okay, well, I understand the Cowboys, they're trying to do things right from a GM perspective. I'll look at Jerry Jones' side just for a second. Okay, we want to make sure we have money to pay whoever is worth it. We want to make the right decision to pay the right person. I understand that part. It is crucial that you pay the right people in the NFL to have a successful team. However, from a personnel standpoint, the Dallas Cowboys are not an awful team. This is a team who is pretty solid from a personnel standpoint. There was a lot of injuries that were very unfortunate for the Cowboys last year. They lost their star quarterback, Dak Prescott. Now, I'm not saying Dak Prescott is the best quarterback to ever live, but damn it, Dak is a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. So you got to at least give him some leeway and say the season would have been different with Dak Prescott. You got CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens on the same offense on the receiving core. Like, are you kidding me? How can you try and ruin the situation that you have on offense by getting rid of an enforcer like Micah Parsons on the defensive end? Yes, I know, hey, Cowboys, they struggled last year defensively. Ranked bottom 5 in defense in all of NFL, if you're looking at the statistics specifically. However, injuries was a big cause of that. And then Micah Parsons struggled with some injuries himself, but still, this is a guy, when he's healthy, you know what he can do and you know how he can transcend your defense. So I don't understand what the hell Jerry Jones is talking about. To me, it's silly, and I'm really just a firm believer that at this point, he's trying hard to show up Nico Harrison as the worst GM in all of football and worst GM in all of sports. Because I've never seen a player that's indubitably worth every penny he could earn in the NFL get denied a contract, especially when the team didn't even have a fair shot last year at making something happen. Because a healthy Cowboys team definitely probably would have at least got to the playoffs last year. Maybe they would have still got popped, and maybe they would have lost in the first round or the wild card game. But a healthy Cowboys last year with Dak Prescott, fully healthy defense, fully healthy offense, you can't sit here and tell me that they wouldn't have at least got 9 games. So this game that Jerry Jones is playing needs to be shut down. And shout out to you, Thomas, because you always hit it on the nail. You say, hey, man, Cowboys ain't going to be good until Jerry Jones falls to the grave. And I think that's just going to be one of the things that Cowboys fans have to accept as reality, because him as a GM is destructive. And yes, he has those Super Bowls in the past that he ain't going to ever let go. And a lot of Cowboys fans never going to let go of that. But you need to realize, man, the juice is gone. It ain't no more juice in there. It's done, man. The reign is over, and Jerry Jones' era is done. Anybody who's still on his side, man, it must be for some other reasons. And I ain't gonna say what those are. I know what some people might be thinking, but I ain't gonna say what those reasons are. I'ma just say it ain't no good reasons. Anyway, look, man, we got some more stuff to cover, though. The Cowboys out here being silly, so we're not going to let that take up the whole time. I can go on and on and on about how bad of an owner Jerry Jones is and what else the Cowboys need to do and what Dak has to do coming into this season, but we'll move on. We'll talk about the NFC still, but this time, just the division winners. So stay tuned. We're going to go into halftime, and then we're going to come back with the division winners of all the teams in the NFC. And then later on in the week, we'll come back with the AFC teams of the division winners. But I want to break it into 2 different episodes just to keep things moving preseason right now. But don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. We got the NFC division winners coming up in just a second. It's halftime. All right, welcome back to The Run with me, Manny Wilson. I appreciate you tuning in. Leave us a quick take, 219-413-9405. If you hear something that you want to go ahead, comment on, leave a quick take, get one off yourself, go ahead, do your thing, and we'll play it back next episode. Now, we got the division winners here because this is sparking up a lot of conversation. The offseason is just about over, man. We got preseason games happening, so a lot of these division winners in the NFC is about to come to light real soon. We're gonna have some more conversations about it, but NFC North, NFC South, all of them. We're gonna start with the NFC North because the NFC North, if you ask me, is the best division in football right now. Without a doubt. You got a lot of elite teams. Last year, you had 4 or 3 different teams who was all in the playoffs. You had 2 teams that won over 11 games. So it was just crazy competition everywhere you look in the NFC North. But I got to say, for their division winners, man, I'm going none other than the Detroit Lions as your division winners in the NFC North. I'm going to go with the Lions for a couple different reasons. One, I look at the competition there. I say, hey, yeah, they did lose their offensive coordinator, but hell, that's still of a lot of talent over there with the Detroit Lions. Still got J-Mo, still got Amon-Ra, still got Gibbs, still got Montgomery, and you still got quarterback Jared Goff, and you got Dan Big Balls Campbell. Like, I'm just saying, bro, this Lions team is still stacked. You got Laporta over there. You got the, don't even get me started on the defensive end, who the Lions have over there. So I see the Lions still having a lot of success this year, despite having a new offensive coordinator. The defense is still solid. With an injured, brutal, beat down defense, this team was still bullying teams and pulling out games. And then when they were really too down bad and couldn't find a way to stop any other offense, they were able to outscore teams. So this is a dynamic Lions team. And looking across the division here in the NFC North, I don't think other teams really quite have it. The only other team I'm a little skeptical of is the Green Bay Packers. Now, I know, hey, it's a lot of beef with the Packers in the NFC North. Every team in the NFC North dislike the Packers besides Packers fans. But hear me out. Jordan Love healthy, solid. The rest of that offense, solid. The rest of that defense on the Packers, solid. They didn't really have too many weaknesses last year. The only thing I can pick apart is that they just lost a cornerback. Alexander went to the Ravens. But even then, I can't really consider that a blow that's going to change the dynamic of their entire season. You got to give the Packers some credit, even though they're one of the most hated teams in the NFC North. But I got them towering over the Bears right now. Yeah, they got the new offense. They got the new head coach and all of that stuff and the weapons that's nice and shiny, but still just not convinced by the Bears, man. They gonna literally have to show me that they're elite before I believe that the Bears are an elite team in the NFC North. And then I look at the Minnesota Vikings, which sparks a lot of buzz here, but with the Minnesota Vikings, I mean, the quarterback situation is still a little up in the air right now. J.J. McCarthy, and yes, he's coming in as a rookie. He's healthy. But, I mean, from the reports that I'm seeing in camp, and camp is not everything. Training camp doesn't tell the full story. J.J. McCarthy hasn't been that guy as of yet, where he's just showing these explosive throws, these beautiful, magnificent throws, where it's just indubitably that indubitable that he is one of the elites in the quarterback conversation of the NFC North. I don't see that yet. And I understand they still got other pieces, but when you look at their receiving core and Justin Jefferson and all of them, it's dependent on the quarterback. If Justin Jefferson can't get the ball from J.J. McCarthy, he's not really going to be a threat. So a lot of question marks are up in the air with the Vikings because of the quarterback situation. Yes, they still got the defense, which is concerning, but above all, man, it's nothing in my mind. There's no doubt at all that this division of the NFC North is still the most elite division in all of football, whether you're talking about the NFC alone or even including the AFC. I still think this team is elite, multiple of them. between the Vikings, Packers, Lions, and then maybe even the Bears, which is still a big question mark. But looking at this roster, from a roster standpoint, I should say, in the NFC North, I got the Detroit Lions still coming out as division winners. And I will say keep an eye out for the Bears. Maybe, I don't know. We've been saying this for the last 3 years, and maybe the new head coach makes that much of a difference. But I can't believe any of the hype from the Bears until I see it, man. I'm just not sold on anything I see from the Bears. I don't care who the hell they have on that roster and who they bring on that roster. You get the new O-line, you grab multiple O-linemen, which is a huge help. You got some nice receivers, you got the running backs. Caleb Williams, maybe he's good, maybe he's not. If he can just be average with the offense that he has in the play calling that he will have, you can't. It's just a great situation for him to succeed. So if Caleb Williams don't succeed in this situation with the Bears, I ain't got nothing to say to you. It just might not be meant for you to thrive in the NFL if you can't thrive under this situation with the offensive line, with the receiving core you got. Bears defense is not bad, so you got a nice defense as well, and then you got a nice offensive play caller. Hey, man, they in a good situation. It's just the only thing that doubts me with the Bears and that brings up doubts with the Bears is the fact that they are the Chicago Bears. That's it. Other than that, I think they can make some noise, but I'm just not sold on it. So I'm going with the Lions to win that division for sure. Now let's move along because there are some other teams here and some more important teams and divisions that I have my eye on. Now, as you all know, Atlanta Falcons fan here, and I swear this is non-biased because some of y'all will say that this is biased. I'm not biased in this situation. Maybe I didn't even pick the Atlanta Falcons to win the NFC South before you say I'm biased about the team who's going to win the NFC South. Tampa Bay Buccaneers have been on a tear. They've been whooping ass all in this division for the past 5, 6, 7 years. So how could I just automatically say the Atlanta Falcons going to win this division? So hear me out and hear me clearly. I'm not going to automatically assume, the Falcons going to win because I'm a fan. No. You got the Panthers. They made some good moves in the draft. The Buccaneers, man, Baker Mayfield has been killing it. They're back-to-back champs. They've been dominant in this division. However, the Atlanta Falcons, I told you I wasn't going to quickly say that they're going to be the division winners, but I will slowly make my argument that the Atlanta Falcons will be the NFC South champions because Michael Penix Jr. Hey, I don't want to say Kyle Pitts just yet, but the boy could be different. We beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last year, and as I remember, actually, it was a clean sweep. We got the champions up out of there in a clean sweep. They did blow the division, whatever, but Kirk Cousins and all of that stuff. I don't even want to go into the excuses of it. However, on a game-to-game basis in the division, I seen with my own eyes that the Atlanta Falcons, a less talented team that I am aware of right now from what I see in training camp and the reports that I'm seeing on the defense, new edge rushers, all of that stuff. This team that we have coming into this 2026-2025 season is much better than last year. And we beat the defending champs in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last year twice. Swept them, beat them at home in Atlanta, and also beat them on the road in Tampa Bay. So because of that, the Atlanta Falcons had a less talented roster than they do now, and they still beat the defending champs. I'm going for them to win the NFC South. Now, there's some other concerns here, not necessarily the Saints. The Saints, seriously, have you seen y'all quarterback? Tyler Snow? Have y'all seen the Saints quarterback? No worries with the Saints. I would be shocked if the Saints made any noise this season. Not concerned about them. The only worries in the division of the NFC South is really the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which we swept last year, and now we have a better roster, and also the Carolina Panthers. Carolina Panthers have a lot of promise. They've been showing, the way they closed out the season was pretty decent, and then, they got some skill. It depends. A lot is weighing on the quarterback play with Young and seeing what he can do when he's out there on the field, but ultimately, I know that receiving core is nice. That receiving core is nasty. The defense is not awful, but it does have some question marks on it. So with that being said, based on the momentum that I've seen from the Atlanta Falcons all of last year, the hype of Michael Penix Jr. closing out the season and the way he controlled the game and controlled the offense, I see them taking another step forward and really taking a firm grip on this division. I think it is his time now. in the NFC South. So I have the Atlanta Falcons winning this division here in the NFC South. So I'm happy about that. But again, it is not biased. Not at all biased. I don't say that in a biased way, man. Like, I swear, I really do think they are the most talented team in the NFC South right now. And it will be another disappointment if they were to fall short and, somehow lose the division. I think that would be crazy. Now you go to the NFC East. Over in the NFC East, we got a lot of teams a couple of teams actually that might make some noise. You got Eagles, Giants, Commanders, Cowboys. As I mentioned, from the way that I was talking about the Cowboys earlier, I'm sure you can imagine that I don't think they're going to win anything in this division. However, the Cowboys could very much go on a run and actually win this division if they did re-sign Micah Parsons and if they would have made a correct hire from the head coach. But I have no faith in the Cowboys head coach. I don't even want to say his name because nobody even going to recognize who the hell he is. He has no history in the NFL that is showing that he's established. So that drives me crazy. Immediately, Cowboys are not winning the division because of Jerry Jones and because of that whole situation. So right off the bat, they're eliminated from the division winners. Then from there, it brings me to the true contenders in the NFC East, which is really only the Philadelphia Eagles and the Washington Commanders. Now, Commanders showed a lot of promise last year. Jaden Daniels' rookie year. I mean, he had the league by the balls. He was going crazy. I mean, he made the playoffs. He upset the Lions. He was giving teams a lot of work, and that team proved to be very dynamic. I'm happy about it. What I've seen, I'm glad there's going to be some competition. The Giants don't stand a chance. I don't think they have enough right now. Maybe they can make some close games, but I don't really see them being division winners. So the true competition in the NFC East really only being the Eagles and the Commanders. For some reason, man, everybody's hating on Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles, but I really think that they will end up winning this division again and actually even going on another playoff run, man. As much as I dislike the Eagles, you gotta give the Philadelphia Eagles credit for what they've been able to do from the quarterback play, from drafting and keeping the defense solid, from adding multiple positions, and not even just over the offseason of last year or this year. I mean, over the course of the last 4 to 5 years, the Eagles have been phenomenal in every aspect. When you talk about drafting, when you talk about making trades and giving away too many draft picks and too little draft picks, the Eagles have been phenomenal. They've been great. And I think anybody in the NFL right now, if you don't look to have your organization model after what the Eagles did over the last 6 to 7 years, man, I don't think you really pay enough attention to the Eagles, and I don't think you've given them the respect that they deserve, man. And again, it pains me to even say this because I don't like Eagles fans. I don't like the Eagles. I'm ready for them to lose, truth be told, but I just got to give them the respect that's deserved because this is an elite team, and I would be a fool not to pick the Eagles as division winners. So I'm going the Eagles as the division winners in the NFC East without a single doubt in my mind. Now, another team here, and this is going to be the last division here, the NFC West. Now, this division, I'm going to keep it honest, man. The NFC West, look, I know a lot of fans love their teams. I understand. I understand how passionate I am about my own team. But the NFC West, arguably the weakest division in football. Arguably. A person could seriously make an argument that the NFC West is one of the most trash divisions in football. And with that being said, look, I know Seahawks is over there, 49ers is over there, but those teams is looking real rough right now. Christian McCaffrey, if he ain't coming back playing 15 games, their season is done. They're already, they're just on a decline right now. So I don't really have faith in the 49ers. But I think the Rams somehow end up controlling this division again. And a big reason why I'm saying the Rams is going to control the NFC West is mainly because of Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford has been a guy who's just shown that he can win whenever he really needs to, especially when it comes to getting his team in the playoffs and things like that. So I still have a lot of faith in that Sean McVay offense and everything that Matthew Stafford is able to do with the ball in his hands. So I'm going with LA Rams, NFC West division champs. Now, 49ers, again, maybe they do shock us. Maybe they do have a big surprise for us, but I don't really have faith in them. I know they were struggling with injuries last year as well, but Brock Purdy being the leader of that team, not convinced. Seahawks, Sam Darnold as the leader of that team, not convinced. Cardinals, Kyler Murray, been up and down, playing good and then playing bad. I know you got Harrison over there as well. You got some nice personnel, but ultimately, not convinced. The only team where I'm convinced that what they do and how they can win games and win important games in the offseason to get to the playoffs and win the division, I'm going with the LA Rams and Matthew Stafford, Sean McVay over there, man, because they've been balling. They had it on lock, so I'm going with them to win the NFC West altogether. Now, however, man, look, if you heard something, you're like, man, you crazy as hell. I can't believe you just threw my Cardinals under the bus, or can't believe you threw my Giants under the bus, or even the Saints, even though who wants to hear from Saints fans? Of course, got to throw some shots there. But go ahead, leave us a quick take, 219-413-9405. And of course, we'll play your take back on the next episode. Maybe I was talking a little too spicy about your Packers. Said they was trash, wasn't going to win, Jordan Love overhyped, whatever. I actually didn't say any of that stuff, by the way. But if I did, you can throw some shots back. You can say whatever you want, get your flows off, and we'll play it back on the next episode. So go ahead, shoot us a quick take, 219-413-9405. And of course, we'll play it back on the next episode. But other than that, man, look, that's all I got. I'm going to leave y'all with a positive note here. And the positive note here is just going to be embrace the present time. I probably said this before, but I'm going to say it again anyway. Just embrace the present time, because time moves really, really fast. And although it seems like it's slow as hell, trust me. Today at work was slow as hell. I'm already knowing. But time really does move fast, man. And a lot of times we'll look back in the past and be like, damn, if only we could relive this, or only if we could go back to that moment. And a lot of times we don't realize that we in those same moments that we wish we could have back. So just, make sure you embrace where you are and just, be present. Remain present, because you only get to experience life once. You only get to experience certain things once. You never know when that snap happened. That was a little dark, but whatever. All right, man, I'm up out of here. We're gonna be back later on next week. We'll be back later on next week. We'll have the AFC division winners from there. Yeah, it will actually be the AFC division winners. Well, I'm gonna just leave it at that right now. We'll be back later on next week, man. We got the division winners coming in the AFC, so stay tuned. Be prepared. Follow us on social media at The Run Podcast, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube at The Run Podcast. Check it out. Get involved. Comment. Well, we usually always respond to comments and stuff, so definitely do that. But other than that, man, that's all we got for you. So I appreciate you tuning in, and then we will be back later on next week. And so on and so on and so on.